A Tale of Two Hygienists presents this week's TIPisode. Quick and easy tips to keep you up to date and presented by the experts in the profession. Now, get ready for your unofficial TIPisode. Hey, it's Michelle. Surprise, I am doing the TIPisode this week. And this is going to be a regular TIPisode from me, the Roaming Dental Hygienist. So yes, I am a part of the podcast, A Tale of Two Hygienists. I do have Level Up Infection Prevention, but I just went on a new adventure in life, and that is me roaming the country. And yes, I am playing off of the RDH, and I am the Roaming Dental Hygienist. So let me give you just a quick recap of what's happening with me. Back in maybe May now, I decided to sell everything I own, put my house on the market, donated all my furniture to a beautiful, wonderful, supportive organization that is for sex trafficking survivors. And I put all of what I owned in a 12-foot enclosed trailer, and I am towing that from city to city. It is a fabulous new adventure. I am beyond excited about it. And essentially what I'm doing is I will live in Airbnbs or travel nursing housing and just travel every month, 2 months, 3 months, preferably every 3 months. I'll pack up and go to a new city and live my life there. And with this new life adventure, I wanted to talk about quite a few things, honestly. First of them not being in dentistry, I wanted to talk about women who travel alone and safety, because we do know that there's quite an issue in our country that people do bad things to women just because they can. So I wanted to talk about safety and the things that I'm doing to keep myself safe and any things that I've encountered and maybe things you can learn from my encounters. So far, so good for the most part. Maybe some few gas station issues, but other than that, doing pretty great with it. I also wanted to support and volunteer in the communities I'm staying in. I love serving. I love giving back to the community. I did that for many years when I was in Charleston. I volunteered every week in an outreach facility that was free service to patients. So I practiced dental hygiene once a week there and loved every moment of it. And I would like to keep that going. I have had quite an issue finding places to volunteer. Granted, we are still in the middle of a pandemic, and it just made things way more complicated than I had anticipated. At this point, I gave advice to the massage therapist that was doing my treatment the other day because I was just so desperate to tell people about oral health. I was like, anybody just listen to me. Let me love you with all of my oral health knowledge. So I'm hoping that will change soon, and I will be able to find some places to volunteer and just do oral health coaching if I can't practice. I also want to get my license in the States, speaking of me not practicing right now, that will accept me based on credentials, because y'all, this girl is not retaking a board exam. No. I did it once. I helped students for 10 years as an adjunct faculty member manage to get through their boards mentally. I don't want to do it, so I'm not. So if they are not accepting me based on credentials, then I will not probably get my license there. Currently, I am in New Orleans. I have not gotten my license here, and I will talk about that in a little bit. I am working on my license in Colorado, which will be fun. I also wanted to meet my fantastic colleagues across the country. And I have done that in a few situations. In Florida, I got to hang out with some fabulous people there. Here in New Orleans, I've met a few people that I knew online, and I love it so much. And I think I might start looking into doing some networking events or maybe even some CE events as I travel to new cities. So, stay tuned for that. I also want to chronicle the oral health disparities that I see as I travel to the different locations. Public health is ingrained in me. It's deep in my heart and soul. And I really want to talk about access to dental care or lack thereof, and what these different communities struggle with as I go across the country. I have a feeling what I will see will probably change, or at least the barriers to care will change. So I'm really excited to document that as well. And so my tip for this TIPisode is very simple, and it's around getting my license in each one of these states that I'm going to. If you're interested in getting your license in a new state, plan ahead. That probably sounds like pretty basic advice, but I must tell you, I had no idea how much time I needed to give myself in this process. So for instance, my first stop was in Florida. I was not getting my license in Florida because, like I said before, this girl ain't taking another exam. Just ain't happening. So I was like, okay, I'll get it in Louisiana. And about, 3 weeks prior to leaving, again, that's probably my fault. That wasn't enough time. But I read the information about getting my license, and it was going to take at least 12 weeks, which was pretty shocking to me because maybe I'm wrong, but aren't we in a shortage of hygienists? Like, let me come work for you. That should be like, snap, snap, snap. Let's get on it. Somebody wants to get a license and work in your state. Let's do that. But I'm sure there's a lot of factors that I'm not aware of that would cause a delay of 12 weeks. But that's in addition to all the documents that I have to send for. So I have to get my transcript. I have to, from my associate's degree. I have to then go get my national board scores and also the clinical board scores. And that has to be sent from the board to the state board. So it's not like I can just get a copy of this and send it to each place that I get a license. I mean, that would just seem too easy, right? And not only do I have to send for it, but in order to get I believe it was my national board scores, I had to get a PIN number. And then I haven't looked at my national board scores since I graduated in 2005. So I didn't have this PIN. So then I had to wait on getting the PIN, contact somebody, they had to send it to me, and then I had to go through the process. That wasn't too long. I mean, I'm looking at maybe with doing all this extra work, solid 2 weeks in addition to that, but still, it's 2 weeks, and then I wait for all of the paperwork to go through. Like I said, right now I'm working on my Colorado state license. They've been pretty receptive. Their online system is pretty cool. It has a portal where I can kind of see what's happening. That's lovely. I hope I find that in all of the states that I go to. But essentially, all of this to say, plan ahead. It's going to take a lot of paperwork. Hopefully you are better at reading paperwork and instructions than I am. I am way too ADD for all of this, but I am managing slowly. So if you are trying to get your license in any state, just plan ahead. Make a checklist, check it twice, and set up almost like a follow-up on your calendar to make sure that all of those things are actually getting delivered to the state board, because that's where I'm at now. Just making sure that's what's happening. So I hope you enjoyed this TIPisode. I'm really excited to see what comes from it. I don't have a plan just yet of what I will talk about, but I have a feeling it will be around what I'm doing in each community, any products that I talk about a lot with the people that I'm volunteering with, any experiences, anything I've learned from those experiences. I'm really excited to share with you, and also some tips and tricks around the licensing process and how different it is from state to state. So if you haven't already, feel free to follow me on social media. I am the Roaming Dental Hygienist. And as always, please follow A Tale of Two Hygienist on Instagram and Facebook. Mostly on Instagram, I am the Roaming Dental Hygienist. Just a heads up, I'm a raging feminist, so you might see some of that content as well. And thank you for taking the time to listen to this TIPisode. And please reach out if you have any questions. Hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcasting app. And it would be awesome if you could rate and review us. And don't forget to follow up on Facebook and Instagram for more awesome content and giveaways from A Tale of Two Hygienists. And you can also search for episodes and find all of our written, audio, and video content at ataleoftwohygienist.com. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And thanks for listening to your unofficial dental hygiene podcast.